When my domineering grandfather issued an ultimatum, choose one of the Johnson brothers to marry, I stunned everyone by picking Ethan, Caleb's brooding older brother, instead of the one I'd worshipped since childhood, the very boy I'd once pretended to be deathly ill for, begging with my life to make him mine. On our wedding day, he left with Lily, the girl my family had supported for years, declaring he would marry no one but her. I stood there in the wedding dress I had dreamed of, utterly humiliated. That's when I realized he had only accepted the engagement to publicly disgrace me. After being reborn, I avoided him at every turn. Then Ethan kissed me, and suddenly, the man who once ignored me started losing control. While preparing for my new wedding, I ran into Caleb at the mall. He walked over, clearly annoyed. "Arya, when will you give it a rest? Why follow me everywhere? You forced the elders to tie us together. Are you satisfied now?" I stayed calm. "I'm not following you. I'm here preparing for my wedding." He grabbed my wrist, his tone sharp. "Aren't you just stalking me?" I pulled away. "I didn't expect to see you." His friend joked, "Caleb, she's already picking out wedding things. Marrying her is pretty convenient." Caleb glared. "Arya, just because our families arranged this marriage, don't think you've won. Even if you get my body, you'll never have my heart." I looked him in the eyes. "Who wants your heart? I'm not marrying you." His expression darkened. "After everything you did to force me, now you're backing out?" His friend nudged him. "She's mad at you, man. Don't be so cold." Caleb softened slightly. "Fine, I'll show up to the wedding, but don't expect me to like you." Suddenly, a sound interrupted us. Lily stood there stunned, wearing a delicate sundress. Caleb ran to her. "Lily, wait! It's not what you think!" She covered her face and ran off. Caleb turned to me. "If Lily's upset, I won't let you off easy." I laughed bitterly. Did I even recognize the boy I once loved? That evening, Caleb brought Lily home with bags of gifts. I was on the couch watching TV, ignoring them. He approached. "Arya, you saw me carrying everything. Why didn't you help?" "Why would I? None of it's for me. If my fiancé looks desperate for gifts, people will laugh at me," I reminded him calmly. "I'm not your fiancé." But he ignored it. Later, he tossed a box of blueberries at me. "Here, a reward. Don't say I mistreat you." I didn't touch them. Accepting them would make me feel like a stray begging for scraps. "You seem comfortable in my house," I said coldly. "Aren't you a guest?" He flushed with anger. In the same room, he pressed Lily to the wall and kissed her. "If anything upsets, you tell me, don't let it affect your health." "I know, Caleb always treats me best," she replied sweetly. I turned off the TV and walked away, taking the longer path to avoid them. As I climbed the stairs, Caleb suddenly looked up, realizing I was there. He pushed Lily away. She didn't notice, and looked at me smugly, like she'd won. Back in my room, a message came from Lily. "Sister, even if Caleb promised you a wedding, the title of Mrs. Johnson will only ever be mine. Whatever happened last time will happen again. You can't beat me." My heart skipped a beat. So I wasn't the only one who had been reborn. In my past life, I thought Caleb had accepted me out of love. But at the wedding, in front of everyone, he held Lily's hand and announced he'd never marry me, that Lily was the only one he loved. I was left in my wedding dress, completely humiliated. Everyone knew how much I adored him. I had begged, shamed myself and my parents just to be with him. In the end, I died from illness, alone and broken. After being reborn, I gave up on Caleb and chose Ethan. To my surprise, our engagement went smoothly. No one objected. Even my grandfather asked, "Are you sure you want to marry Ethan?" I nodded. Even if he had flaws, I'd rather have a peaceful life than one filled with pain. The next day, I went to the jeweler to pick up our wedding rings, ones I had designed myself. But the staff told me Caleb had already taken them. The store belonged to the Johnson Group. They couldn't stop him. Out of all the rings, he had taken mine. Then I saw Lily's post online. A one-of-a-kind ring from my beloved. She and Caleb wore my rings, the ones I created for Ethan. I couldn't hold back. I went straight to Caleb's office, but found Lily instead. She played with the ring. Ugly, isn't it? But Caleb gave it to me, so I love it. I clenched my fists. She added mockingly, "If I wear it to your wedding, will I outshine you?" Something snapped. I grabbed for the ring. We struggled. And then, a sharp kick hit my waist. I collapsed in pain. Caleb had kicked me. "You're insane," he shouted. "How dare you hurt Lily? Don't you know how fragile she is?" Tears filled my eyes, but not from the pain, from the betrayal. Lily whimpered, "If you hadn't come in time, I don't know what she would have done to me." He gently wiped her tears. "Don't worry, I won't let that crazy woman near you again. I don't care if she's from the Wilson family, I'll protect you." Even his secretary who tried to help me got fired. "Who said you could help her? Collect your last paycheck." As I stood humiliated, I laughed bitterly through the tears. Did he really hate me that much? He snapped, "You still have the nerve to laugh? I told you I don't love you anymore. She stole from me." "It's just a ring," he said coldly. "It was meant for me. What's the harm in her wearing it?" I almost shouted that the ring was for Ethan, but I stopped myself. Ethan would return tonight. The family dinner would be the perfect moment to reveal everything. As I limped out, Caleb called behind me. "Come to dinner by yourself. I won't pick you up." I didn't look back. I smiled faintly, laughing at his arrogance and at my own pitiful state. It's fine. I don't need him to pick me up. He'll understand soon enough that my life has nothing to do with him anymore. When I arrived at the Johnson house, Ethan was already seated waiting for me. I sat down beside him and neither of us spoke. Caleb arrived late, visibly displeased when he saw me sitting next to his older brother. "Arya, how can you sit next?" "To my brother? Come sit by me." He sat down without waiting for a response. Before I could open my mouth, Ethan's smooth voice cut through the silence. "Why shouldn't my fiancé sit beside me?" Caleb's expression changed drastically. His voice tightened. "Brother, what? What kind of joke is this?" Ethan stood, locking eyes with Caleb. After years apart, he had grown taller, his demeanor more composed and commanding. Compared to Caleb's boyishness, Ethan exuded a presence that instantly overshadowed his younger brother. "Do you have any objections to my marriage?" Ethan asked coldly, nothing like the way one usually speaks to a sibling. Caleb grew agitated, slamming the table, his face twisted with frustration. "You don't even like her. Why are you marrying her?" Ethan replied calmly. "Then who should she marry?" "You, of course. Me. Everyone knows she's been desperate to marry." "Me, even faking illness to threaten her parents." As soon as the words left his mouth, my face turned deathly pale. I was about to stand and refute him, but Ethan reached over and gently took my cold hand in his. "And you?" Ethan asked calmly. "Do you like her?" Caleb was speechless. "If you don't like her, what right do you have to marry her?" "Besides," Ethan added, "you're not me. How do you know I don't like her?" He looked down at me, his gaze soft as water, so at odds with the coldness in his voice earlier. I froze, then blushed furiously. I knew Ethan was protecting me, but I didn't expect him to go this far. Not only was he fully committed to the act, but his words left no room for doubt. "Brother, since when did you start liking her? Why didn't you tell me?" Just as Caleb began to protest, the doors behind us swung open. Lily entered, more dressed up than she had been when we'd run into her at the mall. I had only applied light makeup before coming, and after that awkward scene at the Johnson group, she appeared far more polished standing there. But so what? As long as I held the title of Wilson family's daughter, she could never surpass me. "I'm so sorry I'm late. I hope I didn't disturb you all." Mr. Johnson frowned in displeasure. "Who invited this girl?" Without hesitation, Caleb answered, "I did." As Lily approached the table, Mr. Johnson lowered his voice deliberately. "And why would you invite her?" Lily was a foster child the Wilson family had raised. Mr. Johnson had never approved of my parents treating her like a true Johnson daughter, especially over me. Isn't this a family dinner? Lily is Arya's sister. What's wrong with her coming? Mr. Johnson looked disappointed. She's not a real sister. She's adopted. Besides, we're discussing wedding matters today. Her presence is inappropriate. Lily had reached the table and couldn't help overhearing him. Her cheerful face fell as she tried to hold back tears. Uncle, if I'm not welcome, maybe I should come another time. Caleb grabbed her hand. That's not true. Sit next to me, wherever. Caleb was, Lily never had to fear being mistreated, because he would always shield her. She sat down, blinking as she looked at me. Her lips silently mouthed the words, Sister, what can you use to compete with me? I didn't want to engage with her, but thankfully Ethan spared me from the awkwardness by offering me a piece of fish. The sea bass has no bones. You can eat it without worry. He was incredibly thoughtful, attentive to my preferences. I had always loved eating fish, something Caleb never knew, but Ethan did. I blushed and murmured, Thank you. Ethan smiled gently, like a glacier quietly melting. No need to thank me. You're about to be my wife. Taking care of you is a husband's duty. I lowered my head shyly, quietly eating the fish, hoping no one noticed my reddened cheeks. Under the table, someone kicked me hard. Looking up, I saw Caleb glaring at me, then subtly lifting his phone and motioning for me to check mine. Annoyed, I pulled out my phone and saw he had sent several messages. I usually kept my phone on silent during meals, so I hadn't noticed. 10 minutes ago. Arya, what's wrong with you? You used to be desperate to marry me. How can you change? You're mine now? 5 minutes ago. Are you just pretending with my brother? Don't think this will make me want you. 1 minute ago. What did you offer him to make him play along with this act? I didn't reply. I blocked him and turned off my phone, ignoring his antics beneath the table. But Caleb couldn't take it any longer. Everyone was eating quietly when his voice suddenly cut through the atmosphere like a knife. Arya, why aren't you answering? My messages? I calmly picked up a napkin, dabbed my lips, then stood and splashed my water in his face. The cold water streamed down his head. Caleb sat frozen, stunned. Lily shrieked beside him. Arya, what are you doing splashing Caleb? She caught herself. I mean, sister, what are you doing? I looked straight at Caleb and said clearly, If you don't believe it, that's your choice, but Ethan and I are really getting married. Please stop bothering me, I've already blocked you. Caleb scoffed and tilted his head. Sure. You're really marrying my brother. I must have been delusional. In the future, don't come crying to me begging to take you back. Lily had come today to make a show of herself. Now, hearing Caleb say that, she took the opportunity to play the victim. Sister, are you fighting with Caleb because of what happened today? It's my fault. If you really want the ring, I'll give it to you. She made herself look pitiful, tears glistening at the corners of her eyes, trying to win everyone's sympathy. She even gave Ethan a sorrowful look, but Ethan's attention wasn't on her. He turned to me and asked, What ring? I explained everything. Ethan's expression gradually darkened. Lily, I didn't know it was your wedding ring. If I had known, I would never have accepted it. Lily bit her lip, holding back tears, her eyes full of grievance. You took the rings meant for Arya and me, Ethan said coldly. If she wasn't so gracious not to hold it against you, I'd be demanding an explanation. Brother, is it really that serious? It's just a pair of rings, the jeweler has plenty, Caleb said. Ethan didn't hold back. Don't think I won't reprimand you just because you're my brother. Anyone who disrespects Arya, I'll deal with them one by one. The family dinner ended in tension, but the wedding preparations moved forward. Yet uneasiness lingered within me. Part of me felt things were going too smoothly. The other part feared that knowing Lily had also been reborn, she might try to sabotage the wedding. Since that intense confrontation, Caleb hadn't messaged me again. I was gradually adapting to life without him, detaching from the past and focusing on planning my future with Ethan. As I spent more time with Ethan, I found myself drawn to him. He shed all his CEO airs around me and treated me with genuine respect. So much for the rumors about him being cold and ruthless. Slowly, I realized even if he had some physical issue, a platonic marriage wouldn't be the worst thing. Until the night before the wedding, when I received a call from one of Caleb's friends. "Hey sis, Caleb's drunk and making a scene. Can you come pick him up?" I refused. "Let Lily get him. I'm getting married tomorrow. I'm busy." His friend sounded desperate. "He won't let us call Lily. We don't know what to do. Big sis, little sis." That's how his friends referred to me and Lily. I could hear the sound of vomiting through the phone. "Sis, please come quick. My mom's calling me home. If you don't come get him, I'll just dump him on the street to sleep." I took a deep breath. "Send me the address." His friend chuckled before hanging up, then turned to the person beside him with a smirk. "See? I told you Arya still has a soft spot for him. She can't let him go." Caleb had drunk a lot. His eyes were hazy, making it hard to tell if he was truly drunk or just pretending. "Thanks. You can go now," I told his friend. He grabbed his jacket from the chair and quickly left. Before heading over, I messaged Ethan, letting him know Caleb was drunk and sent him the address of the restaurant. At the barbecue stand, I spotted Caleb from afar. He was slumped over the table, his hair tousled by the wind, clearly uncomfortable from drinking too much. He kept rubbing his face against the wooden surface. I walked over, hands in my pockets, and stood beside him, meeting his unfocused gaze. "Didn't you say we'd have nothing to do with each other anymore? Arya, why did you still come?" I didn't have the heart to tell him it was because I couldn't carry him by myself and that his brother was already on the way. The next second, he stood up and suddenly pressed his burning lips against mine. The strong stench of alcohol overwhelmed my senses. I instantly pulled back and slapped him across the face. "Now, are you pretending to be drunk?" Caleb stood frozen from the slap. When he came to his senses, he suddenly grabbed me tightly, locking me in his arms and refusing to let go. I struggled, trying to break free, but his strength overpowered me. As a woman, I simply couldn't fight him off. Out of desperation, I kneed him hard between the legs. Caleb cried out in pain, doubling over. It took him a long time to recover. I didn't even look at him. My eyes scanned the surroundings anxiously. Where was Ethan? If he didn't show up soon, I really would leave Caleb on the street. If he got robbed in the middle of the night, that'd be his problem. Caleb approached again, face pale, and hugged my legs. His shoulders trembled as he spoke, his voice thick with sobs. "Arya, if it's marriage you want, I can marry you too. Just please don't marry my brother. I'm begging you." I kicked him away and slapped him again, harder this time. "I'm marrying your brother tomorrow. Don't say things that can be misunderstood." Caleb's eyes filled with pain and despair. "Arya, do I really disgust you that much?" My cold rejection, my clear repulsion, it wounded him deeply. "I'll say it again. I'm marrying your brother tomorrow." "Oh, but you haven't registered the marriage yet," he argued. "Even if you go through with the wedding, as long as you're unwilling, I can pretend it never happened. If you're willing, I'll marry you right now." His voice was sincere, painfully. So in the past, I would have cried from hearing that. I had loved him too. I had waited over a decade for these words, but only after I gave up completely did he decide to turn back. It was too late. Everything was too late now. I had made space in my heart for Ethan. I wouldn't let anyone else in again. "Caleb Johnson, listen closely. I stopped liking you a long time ago. Everything that happened in the past was just my foolishness. If it caused you trouble, I apologize right here and now. But don't say such nonsense again. From now on, I'll be your sister-in-law, and you'll be my brother-in-law. Let's keep our distance." Caleb stepped forward, trying to grab my hand. "Arya, are you angry because of Lily? I was just messing around with her. I never planned to marry her. As long as you agree to marry me, I'll cut her off completely." Before he could finish, a fist crashed into his face. Caleb spun like a top, his head hitting the table. Blood trickled from the corner of his mouth. Ethan stood there, eyes blazing, with fury. He hadn't held back, not even for his own brother. "I told you not to harass my wife again. Don't think I won't act, just because you're my brother." I fell into Ethan's arms, and in that moment, years of bitterness and heartbreak poured out of me. I cried uncontrollably, my sobs unstoppable. The sorrow of 2 lifetimes finally had a release. Ethan gently stroked the back of my head. "I'm sorry I came late." Then he turned to the side. "Mr. Jiang, take the young master home. Keep a close eye on him before the wedding tomorrow." Mr. Jiang, the Johnson family's butler, nodded in understanding. Ethan's words made it clear he wanted Caleb under watch. He wouldn't let anyone ruin our wedding. The next day, before the ceremony, I waited in the backstage dressing room, adjusting my gown, waiting for the auspicious hour. The door slowly opened. Ethan stepped in, dressed in a perfectly tailored suit. Every button was fastened, the fabric smooth and crisp, giving him an air of solemn elegance. He had even styled his hair specially for the occasion. Ethan's features were striking, sharp, noble, undeniably handsome. He leaned against the doorframe, narrowing his eyes as he looked at me like I was a piece of art. I blushed deeply, too shy to meet his gaze. He walked over unhurriedly. The steady sound of his leather shoes against the floor was like a countdown, each step building the tension. He lifted me with ease, placing me gently on his lap, forcing me to meet his eyes. "Arya, you look stunning today. Why are you hiding that beautiful face?" He looked at me, eyes dark with intensity, filled with something deeper, something that stirred the air between us. Then he leaned in, and his lips met mine. His long eyelashes fluttered, brushing against my skin and leaving a ticklish sensation. Then the kiss deepened. Ethan slowly stole the air from my lungs until I could barely breathe. When he finally pulled away, he let out a soft chuckle. "Silly girl, did you forget to breathe while kissing?" I stammered, still clutching his arms. I've never really learned how to kiss properly. Besides, aren't you unable to, you know?" Sensing danger, Ethan's hand buried itself in the back of my hair. His voice dropped, his tone not so gentle anymore. "Who told you I can't?" My mind went blank. Oh right, back in my past life, everyone had spread rumors that he had some kind of physical issue. He leaned close and whispered devilishly in my ear, "Tonight I'll show you whether I can or not." I shuddered, trembling at the magnetic pull of his voice. "All right, I've eaten all your lipstick. Touch it up before the ceremony starts." Looking back at the mirror, I saw myself still sitting on Ethan's lap, lips red and swollen from his kisses. My face flushed and helpless. I quickly averted my gaze and tried to get up, but Ethan wrapped an arm around my waist and wickedly pressed me down, making me fall back into his embrace. "The wedding's still a while away. Let me hold you a little longer." I leaned against his chest, gently hugging him back. The moment was tender and quiet until loud shouting erupted outside the dressing room. "Get out of my way! Anyone who tries to stop me, just try it!" Caleb's angry voice drew gasps from the staff. Then, with a loud crash, he kicked open the door. His eyes locked onto me, sitting blushing in his brother's arms. In an instant, he lost control. He stormed over in 2 steps and yanked me away from Ethan. "Arya, the wedding's about to start. Haven't you played around enough?" His eyes were like a stormy sea, a dangerous crimson hidden in their depths. "If you're done playing, go out there and tell everyone you won't marry my brother. I'll give you an even grander wedding than this." Ethan calmly unbuttoned his cuffs, then rolled up his sleeves methodically. The next moment, he threw a punch, squarely at Caleb's face. Caleb tried to fight back, but their parents arrived just in time to pull them apart. Ethan was unharmed aside from a few scratches on the back of his hand. Tiny beads of blood seeped out, but he didn't even flinch. My heart ached seeing him hurt. I immediately asked someone to bring a first aid kit to treat his wounds. Meanwhile, blood trickled from the corner of Caleb's mouth. The wound near his eye had reopened, but he didn't seem to feel a thing. He just stared at me, lost and distant. "Caleb, have you gone mad? It's your brother's wedding day. What are you trying to do, showing up like this?" Their mother scolded, pulling her son aside, but even then, she couldn't hide the softness in her voice. He was still her child. "Stop these inappropriate thoughts. Arya is about to become your brother's wife. If word gets out that the younger brother tried to steal the bride, how will our family face society?" Caleb's face turned ashen. He tugged at the corner of his mouth bitterly. Arya was supposed to be my wife. He's the one who stole her from me. He shook off his mother's hand and walked toward me. Ethan instinctively stepped in front, shielding me. Arya, just tell me the truth. Do you still love me? If you say yes, I'll take you away right now. My palms were sweating as I clutched Ethan's sleeve, but I answered without hesitation. Your brother and I are truly in love. Caleb's expression twisted. How can you be truly in love when you've barely known each other? Arya, I don't believe it. Ethan raised an arm to block Caleb's path, keeping us apart. The truth is, I love her, and she loves me. Is that clear? If so, get out of our way. I don't want to see you at my wedding. If you insist on causing trouble, I won't hold back, not even for our parents' sake. You know exactly what I'm capable of. Caleb's face went stiff as he watched. Ethan walked me out of the room. I touched up my makeup and entered the wedding hall at the auspicious hour. All eyes were on me, including my husband's, and in the far corner, silently weeping like a lost dog, was Caleb. After the wedding, Ethan's parents told me that Caleb didn't stay for the ceremony. He left midway, boarding a flight abroad the same day. He didn't return for many years. Among those he left behind was Lily, the Wilsons' adopted daughter. She used health issues as an excuse to travel abroad repeatedly, ostensibly for treatment, but really to look for Caleb. But judging by the disappointment in her eyes each time she came back, she never found him. Eventually, she gave up and agreed to a marriage arranged by her parents. On our wedding night, I waited in the bridal chamber. Ethan's friends had forced him to drink quite a bit. By the time he returned, it was late. He collapsed on the bed. I couldn't tell if he was drunk. I was about to get up and make him some soup when he grabbed my wrist. He laid his head on my lap, his voice low and lazy. I'm not drunk, just tired. Let me rest here for a bit. If you're tired, I'll run you a bath, I said. We can sleep early, we're both exhausted, no need to push ourselves. I looked down and saw him smiling. What are you smiling about? Ethan closed his eyes. I'm smiling because I married the woman I love. Can I be happy? I knew he wasn't lying, so I asked, Ethan, when did you start liking me? He tilted his head, thinking. When you were 16, the first time you came chasing after Caleb all the way to our house. For me, it was love at first sight. So in my past life, the reason he never married was because of me. My eyes stung, and warmth flooded my heart. Thank you for loving me. Ethan sat up and scooped me into his arms. Hey, what are you doing? He headed straight for the bathroom. Didn't you just thank me? He said, smirking. So I'm claiming a little reward. That's not too much, is it? 3 months later, I began having terrible morning sickness and couldn't keep anything down. Ethan personally cooked for me, experimenting, with new recipes every day. This is all your fault, I grumbled. Now I can't eat anything and I've lost 2 more pounds. Ethan hugged me gently from behind. Yes, it's all my fault, he said, kissing my cheek. Please be kind to me, my lady. Just try to eat a little.